Hi everybody, so today I'm going to show you how to make your own personal shopping bag. This makes a great little gift, or it's a good way to spruce up your shopping at the moment. So what you need to do is you need to buy one of these cotton tote bags. You can get them at craft shops or you can buy them online. They're quite cheap, they're about £1 each. So we'll come back to that in a minute. We'll pop the bag to the side. So what I've done is on just a sheet of normal paper, I've drawn my design nice and big. So I'm going to go for this lovely little stag. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to cut out the centre of it, because whatever I cut out is the area that's going to print. So if I just cut around it, then it would obviously, that would be the white area. Okay, so it'll make more sense once I've cut that out, and I'll show you. So it's just an old-fashioned sort of stencil activity, this one. So I'm just going to fold it in half. You might be better using a bit of card actually, because it's a bit stronger, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to cut my outline. So try and keep it neat, because whatever you cut is what is going to print. So we're just going to go round and round. On your first go, maybe it's best to stick with a simple sort of silhouette and then build it up from there. You don't have to use scissors, you can use a little Stanley knife or a scalpel, whatever you've got sort of at home. If you want an intricate one, then maybe a scalpel would be better, but always be careful, you don't want to end up cutting yourself. So I'm just cutting out at the moment. So let's get rid of this bit, so I don't have to keep holding that. So you can see it's already sort of taken shape. Yeah, so this section is what is going to print. Okay, so if you wanted to print the outside of it and have that as your unpainted bit, then you'd need to create a grid around it, a square or a rectangle, whatever shape you wanted. It's important to try and keep your stencil in one piece as well, otherwise the paint may seep. The antlers are going to be quite tricky because there's a bit more detail to them. They're a bit fiddlier. But just take your time, take it nice and easy, and try and get rid of as much of your paper in the middle as possible so you're not going back and forth with it. So we're going round and round. You don't have to have a shape, you could do words, you could do a big Christmas tree. It doesn't have to be Christmassy, this is an all year round craft really. But let's make it a bit festive today, seeing as we're heading for Christmas. So you can see we're already getting the shape of our deer coming together. Okay, this will lay flat, don't worry, when you've got it laid on your tote bag. So it's probably better to use more like card, very thin card, because although paper works, it's a little bit flimsy. You just want to make your life as easy as possible. because you don't want to get to the last bit and then it all breaks. So this is quite a good learning. So I've drawn this quite close to the top, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down a little bit, because I don't want to break my stencil. So I just want to keep it within the white area a bit more. Perfect, okay, so we've now got our stencil all cut out. I'm just going to get rid of the little snips of paper that I don't need. And I'll hold it up so you can see our outline so far. There we go. So we've got our stag ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop that down there for a second. I'm just going to grab my shopping bag, my canvas shopping bag, and I'm going to slot an old bit of cardboard in the middle. The reason I'm going to do this is so that it doesn't bleed through, because you don't want to have a horrible half design on the back. So we just want to keep it nice and neat. So this is a bit of an offcut, so I know that it hasn't gone all the way down, but it's fine because I'll be aware of that when I'm doing it. You might want to iron your bag as well, just to get all the creases out. So I'm going to lay my stencil on top now. So I want to make sure it's nice and straight as well. But there we go, that's what we're going to print onto our back. So I'm going to line it up in the middle so that it's next to our handles. There we go. So we will have a lovely deer or a stag on our shopping bag. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop that to the side and we're going to get the paint ready. So what I've got is a little trough with I think these are called radiator rollers. So it gets you a nice even tone. This is great if you're going to do lots of bags as well. I have tried in the past to use like a permanent marker, but honestly you'll go through about 10 of them and you'll be there all day. So it's best to sort of use paint instead. So I've got some black acrylic paint, and you can do whatever colour you want, of course. Just be conscious of what will sort of go with your bag and your theme. And because they're like a weird cream colour, sometimes some colours don't work. I'm going to add a bit of water to it as well, just to make it a bit looser. I've added quite a bit there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll it together. Okay. So I'm going to add some more paint because I've added far too much water there. That's the thing water sort of gets away with you, doesn't it? Okay, so and then what I'm going to do is roll it out a bit more up here. Okay, perfect. So I've got my roller covered in paint. I'm going to bring my design back. Just make sure, last seconds, let's look at it this way, just to make sure it's in the right place. Perfect, okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to work from the bottom up. So I'm just going to roll this out a little bit more, because you don't want to have lots of cakiness on it, otherwise you'll end up with some really thick bits. So I'm going to put my design down and I'm going to do my roll. So we'll take a few attempts, but you can see it's already starting to print. I'm just conscious that I've gone a little bit close to the edge of the paper at the end, and I don't want to end up getting extra on my design. So we'll come back to that bit. So we'll get a bit more paint, there'll be a bit of back and forth with this. So it's probably best to use a very light cardstock, because then you'll stay in place. So I'm probably going to get quite messy now, because I'm going to use my hands a bit more, and I'm going to twist it so I'm not going against all the fine details as much. we go, nice and slowly. You'll probably end up painting your fingers a bit. So there we go. So now, moment of truth. I've got a little bit up here, but I think I'm going to patch that in because I don't want to end up. So this is what it will look like as you go. And now we're going to peel it off and we will see our design. So pop that to the side. And there we have it. We have our lovely little stag on our tote bag. So what I'll just do is I'll just go, I'll get a little bit of paint. I could use my finger even. I could fill that in, or you can get a paintbrush at the end just to go over any little bits. Like up here we'll need a bit more detail, but that's fine. The bulk of it is there. So there you go. That's how you make your shopping bag personalised. You could add messages on there, play around with it, use a bit of creativity. Leave it to dry, because especially where we've added water, it will be quite wet. An example, I'll just show you inside the bag. This is where we put the cardboard in. It's because you can see it's printed through. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm just going to lift it up so it loosens off of that, so it doesn't dry to the cardboard as well. But there we go, we have one lovely shopping bag, which will make the perfect gift, or it's a good way to give gifts as well, because it's the gift that keeps on giving, because they can use it in the new year to go shopping with. So have a go and share your designs with us. It'd be great to see what you get up to, but most of all, just have a bit of fun. See you again soon. Bye for now.